Okay, so now I'll say the 10th experiment, which is calculation of buckling load of a column. So in this, we'll consider a column which is hinged at both ends, and then for that we need to calculate what is the Euler's buckling load. Already problem description is given here. A hollow mild steel tube 6 meter long, 4 centimeters internal diameter and 5 mm thick is used as a column with both ends hinged. Find the buckling load and take E is equal to 200 mm. So here length is given in meters, diameter is centimeters, thickness is in 5 mm. So you need to convert all those units into meters. Then you apply the data in the software. Now to model this, so already given a finite element model here, you can see that there are 10 elements and 11 nodes. So we need to create a 10 element model to solve this particular problem. And for that, we are considering beam 188 as a element for this problem. So first what we'll do is, we'll create the two key points at the two ends of the beam or column. One is at this location, the other one is at this location. So for key points, you know the coordinates. Here it is 0, 0, 0. Here it is x is 0, y is 6 meters, and z is again 0. Join these two key points, you'll get a straight line. Then mesh that straight line into 10 elements, and then you need to apply the constraints. That is, at this point it is fixed. Instead of fixed, you can need to take it is hinged, because hinged condition here you have to take here it is hinged and here also it is hinged. You need to apply those constraints. Then you need to solve. So here, in order to calculate the buckling load using the software, first what we need to do is we need to solve the static analysis. Then we'll make use of the results of the static analysis to find the buckling load. Also, one more important point here you need to remember is, software won't give you the buckling load directly. It will give buckling load multiplier. Then to compute that buckling load, you need to take the buckling load. You need to take the applied load, multiply the load multiplier, so that you will get the buckling load. Suppose if I am applying a load of here F, if I take F as 1000, then the software, if the software gives the load multiplier as a some 10, then your buckling load is this force F into 10. F is 1000 into 10, that is 10,000 newtons is going to be your buckling load. So like that, we need to solve it. So, or we need to calculate it. So now I'll show you in the software how to solve this particular problem, and then you can practice it later. Okay, first we'll select the element type as beam 188. Then we'll define the material properties. So we'll take everything in meter. So since he has given E as 200 GPa, we need to give it as 200 into 10 power 9. 200 E9 as the Young's modulus. Poisson's ratio, we can take it as 0. Then we need to define the sections. So he has given it as a hollow circular cross section. Here I need to select it as hollow circular cross section. Then it is asking for the radius Ri, Ru. Ri is the inner radius, that is he has given inside diameter as a 4 centimeters. So radius is 2 centimeters. If I convert that one into meters, it is 2 into e power minus 2. For outer radius is nothing but inner radius minus plus thickness. Inner radius plus thickness, it is 2.5 centimeters. So I need to enter it as 2.5 e minus 2. So you can click apply. If you want to see the properties of the section, you can see it here. Area, what is the cross-sectional area, what is the moment of inertia, you can see it here clearly. Once the section is defined, then we'll go for modeling. Create. First, we need to create the key points. So like I already mentioned, the first key point is all the coordinates are 0. So I'll leave them blank. For second, I need to give it as y coordinate as 6 meters. So then we'll join these two key points by a straight line. So I'll select these two key points, line will be created. So now we need to convert this line into FE elements. So for that we need to go for mesh tool. First I need to set how many number of divisions I need to divide this one so that I'll get the 10 elements. So I'll go for line set. Then you need to select this line and here you need to enter your number of element divisions as 10. Click OK. Then you need to mesh. Go for click on mesh. Select the line again. Click OK. So now it is meshed. So next we need to go for loads and boundary conditions. For loads and boundary conditions, first we'll apply the constraints. So in the element description, I have given that if you look at that, here there are 6 degrees of freedom for each node. But for our problem, we don't require 6 degrees of freedom. We require only 3 degrees of freedom. That is in plane displacements and rotation about z-axis. So what I will do is first we'll constrain all unnecessary degrees of freedom. For that is rotation x, rotation y, and displacement along z direction. So first I'll apply that. So for that I need to go for structural displacement or nodes. Then I'll pick all the nodes. Pick all. I'll click on pick all. Then unnecessary degrees of freedom. These are uz, rotation x, and rotation y. So I'm eliminating 3 degrees of freedom for all the nodes. So you can see that it is putting the 3 constraints on all the 3 nodes. Then I'll apply the hinge conditions. So hinge condition is nothing but here, this end, you have to fix ux, uy, and at this end, you need to fix it only ux. So if I apply that conditions here, first I'll take this, here I'll select the bottom node. So I need to fix ux, uy also for this node. Click apply or OK. Then I'll select this node. Then for this node, I need to apply only ux so that uy is free. Okay, so these are about the boundary conditions. Then what I'll do is I'll apply some load here. Like I said, let us say 1000 newtons. So here I'll select this node, top node. Then the load should be applied in the y direction and its magnitude. Since in order to have a buckling, I need to apply a compressive force. Let us take compressive force as 1000. So, okay. So then I apply the loads and boundary conditions. Then I'll go for the solution. So like I already mentioned, first we need to solve the static analysis. Okay. So to get the required files for the buckling analysis, what you need to do is you need to set some solution controls here. So you have to use this option in the software, calculate pre-stress effect. You need to tick mark, or that means you need to click it here. Then only it will save the files for the next buckling analysis. So this is important. If you don't do this, you won't get any solution in our buckling analysis. So then once selecting this calculate pre-stress effect, then click OK. Then you solve the first you solve the static structural analysis. So it will solve for you. Then you save this, just click on save analysis, then click on finish. Then again go for solution. Now you need to change your analysis type to buckling analysis. So then under analysis type, click on new analysis. Now you select eigen buckling analysis. Then you need to select how many number of modes you require. If you want one, you can select one. If you want to two, you select two. Let us will take them as 4. I'll give it as 4. Then click OK. Then you need to solve it. Okay, it is done. So then to see the load multipliers, like I already told, it won't give you the buckling load value. It will give you the load multiplier. We need to look it into the output window here. So in the output window, you can see that here it is given as shape number and load multiplier. So here you can see first mode or first mode shape. For first mode, it is 10.05. Second mode, it is 41.995. Third mode, it is 101. Fourth mode is 202. So like that you will get, you have, so depending upon the degrees of freedom in a structure, you have so many number of modes, but we requested only 4 modes. That's why it is shown only 4 modes. So now here this load multiplier is 10.05. Suppose if I want to calculate the first mode buckling load. So then the force what we applied to the column, it is 1000. So then our buckling load is this 10.05 multiplied by that 1000. So which is going to be your buckling load. So now you can compare this value with respect to your analytical solution. That is, in case of analytical solution, we know Euler's buckling load is nothing but phi square EI by LE square. So where E is the Young's modulus, I is moment of inertia. We already know for the cross section, circular cross section, in that section details we already seen that. LE is that where the effective length of the beam or column, which is 6 meters here. So you substitute that, you calculate that, and you compare that solution to this and try to compute what is the percentage error. If you feel the percentage of error is more, then what you have to do is you need to increase the number of elements. So we consider only 10 elements. You increase the number of elements from 10 to 20, then solve it. So your solution accuracy will improve. And once you've done that, then like I already told, so it is a mode shapes. So if you want to visualize those mode shapes, so that means how it is going to buckle in first mode and how it is going to buckle in the second mode, like that. So we can see that also. For that, what we need to do is we need to go for general solution. Then you need to read the results corresponding to the required mode. That is, if I want to see the first mode shape, I need to read the results of first set. So click on read results first set, then go for plot controls and animate, then click on mode shape here. You can see that clearly it is buckling something like this. So if you want to animate it is, you can make it fast if you want. So it is going to buckle something like this. So this is about the first buckling mode. Then if I want to see the next one, that is second. So here you can use this next set option, or I can use by pick option here. I'll select this by pick second mode, then second mode, then I'll click on read. Then I'll go for again animate, plot, sorry, not plot controls, animate, mode shape. Then click OK. See now in second mode how it is buckling. So earlier entire thing is moving on one side, but now here if top of moving left, right half is bottom half is moving right. So they are oppositing. That means the beam is considered as two beams now, exactly at the center. The point is hinged here. So this is the second buckling mode, and the center point, midpoint, we'll call it as a nodal point here. So similarly, you can see for the mode shape for the next mode, that is the third mode. So click on next set, or you can use by pick option. Okay, already it is selected. See, you can see by clicking on the next set, it is changed to 2 to 3. Then click read here. Then again animate it. So now in case of third mode, you can see you have a two nodal points. So that means the beam will be divided into 3 sections or 3 parts, and it will be deformed like that. So top, middle, and bottom. You can see that here. So if I animate, if I make the speed, if I increase the speed, you can easily see that. Okay, it is closed. Okay, like that you can do it. So this is how you can solve the problem. Okay, right. So what you have to do is you need to note down the buckling loads, and if you want, you can take the mode shapes also, and you can keep those graphs also in your record. Okay, so this is how you can solve this 10th experiment.